Hi everyone, it's Alex Wilson here, accredited mental health social worker and owner of Mindful Recovery Services in Avoca Beach and now Erina. We've just opened up our new office in Erina and it's very exciting. So our team is growing, we're able to see more people, help more people. It's been a really exciting and busy time over the last few months. I wanted to do a vlog today about something that's been on my mind for a while, but it's sort of come up in lots of conversations recently, but also since I started my private practice about almost 9 years ago now. And before I went into private practice, I was working in the public mental health system in lots of different places, psychiatric inpatient units, community mental health teams, emergency departments, a range of different areas. And all areas that we know very safe and very contained within the public system, lots of guidelines and policies and things in place to keep people safe. And when I moved into private practice, my plan was to start my private practice working from my home office and seeing clients from home. Now, when I told people about this plan about 9 years ago, overwhelmingly, people said to me, why would you do that? Like, isn't that dangerous? Why would you see clients at your house, right? And I was like, should I be concerned? I mean, I've worked with people in acute psychiatric wards who are obviously very unwell, but in private practice, we're seeing people who are willingly coming for treatment, who are seeking help. Why would I be concerned about that, right? If I was setting up a hair salon from home, which lots of people do, or if I was even home visiting clients in their own home, which tradies do all the time, which lots of professionals do, would people be saying the same thing to me? Like, oh my God, are you going to be safe? It occurred to me then, and it still happens now, these conversations, that there is this underlying stigma about mental health that is even perpetuated by mental health clinicians. So some of the people that have criticized me or questioned me about seeing clients from my home have been mental health professionals, many of them in private practice, who said, oh, I'd never do that. And, don't you worry about people, knowing where you live. No, not really. Not really. Why would I be? Right? Like, just because my clients are struggling with a mental health issue doesn't mean they're dangerous. And this is the stigma, right? This is part of the misconception. The research tells us very, very clearly that people who are violent most of the time are not mentally ill, right? People who are struggling with a mental illness, who are willingly seeking help, are not dangerous people, right? You'd be coming across these people every day. I mean, the stats now are something like, 40% of us will have a mental health issue in our life. We'll have a diagnosable mental illness in our life. Does that mean that 40% of us are violent and dangerous? Of course not. Now, are there people out there that are violent and dangerous? Yes. You're more likely to come across them when you're out on a Saturday night than you are working from a home office or, doing a business like this. But it's interesting, also talking to other contractors, other clinicians about this, the really widespread idea that our safety with clients is under threat, that we have to make sure in a room that we have a clear path of escape, and we have to make sure we're wearing duress alarms, and all this sort of stuff. Sure, if you're working with a high-risk clientele group like forensic clients or people with criminal backgrounds, sure, okay, you take the precautions. And look, anybody that I invite into my home that I don't know very well, I'm going to take precautions around. But that doesn't mean that we need to treat our clients as if they're more dangerous than the average person, right? Sometimes people say to me, because I do DBT therapy, and for those of you who don't know, part of DBT therapy, a very important part of DBT therapy, is that clients have my mobile number, right? So not all my clients do DBT, but the ones that do, they have my mobile number, and I encourage them to text me if they are having a difficult time and they want to try and use some of the skills that we've been working on. Now, this is a time-limited conversation. It's a text back and forth. I say to them I'll get back to them within 28 hours of them texting me, but usually I'm a lot quicker than that, but that's sort of the outside level. But I encourage them to do that so that I can help them apply those skills in between sessions. And other clinicians and other people say to me, oh God, like, why would you give your number to clients? I mean, what do you think your clients are going to do with your number? Do you think they're going to be like calling you 24/7? I mean, I think that's insulting to our clients, right? And they don't. In fact, I get the opposite, which is I'm encouraging them to text and they don't want to. They're like, no, I'm afraid that I am bothering you. It's your free time. You've got your life. And I just say, look, if I'm busy, I just won't text you back right away. I will text you back when it suits me, right? But, overwhelmingly, they're more concerned about invading my privacy and my boundaries than anything else. The time that I've been in private practice, I have only had one incident of a person who I felt stepped over that line into my personal private life that was inappropriate. And it wasn't a client, it was a client's parent. And they came to my front door and they were kind of carrying on a little bit because they wanted to see me after their child's session, and I didn't have time to do that. Anyways, and that was, and I was just quite firm with them about, look, this isn't appropriate, end of story. Right. And I think that as a clinician, if you are, comfortable and confident in your own boundaries, then it shouldn't be an issue. If a client is calling me on my mobile all the time, then it's my job to say, hey, like, this is too much. This isn't what we agreed on. What's going on with this? Why is this happening? That's a great thing for us to explore together. And if somebody really, seriously crosses the line, then, I deal with that. But in 9 years in private practice, this has been a non-issue. I don't have clients, finding me on social media and trying to message me. In fact, I want my clients to find me on social media. I have my professional profiles separate from my personal ones, but I want them to connect with my professional profiles, which I also share personal stuff, right? I want them to do that because I'm a real person, they're a real person. We have a professional relationship, but it's still a real relationship. So I'm sort of throwing this out there because I think that, for the general public, it's important to, challenge this stigma about people with a mental illness, but also as clinicians, as mental health clinicians, as allied healthcare providers, as, any healthcare provider, what are these false beliefs that we're holding on to about mental health clients that are really untrue? They're not backed by science and data at all, and are perpetuating these myths, right? So let me know what you think. I know this is a sort of controversial topic, so I'd love to hear from you. Okay, bye.